That's right. This project started as a kind of a crazy idea. I was pretty new to the country, and I wanted to know, I wanted to learn a lot more about Slovenian music. And I was walking to the embassy one day with my iPod, and the song Blind Willie McTell came on, which has always been one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs. And I thought to myself, well, why don't we ask Slovenian musicians to get together and cover a Bob Dylan song and start a project about it. That was the first idea. And then I had coffee with Chris, and I said, "Is this even remotely possible?" And he said, "I think it is. I think we could do this." And we were really lucky because about a year ago, the U.S. State Department started what was called the Fund for Innovation, and the idea was to begin funding embassies to do projects that are out of the ordinary. Projects that involve new media and young audiences. And so we applied for a grant and got a very generous grant from the State Department. And we're able to begin this project. And I'll explain a little bit about the project in general and ask Chris to talk a little bit about the music side of the project. But the idea was to ask the best of Slovenia's musicians to choose a Bob Dylan song and cover it. The songs, a lot of people ask, are the songs done in Slovene or in English? And the songs are done in English, but the reason is different than you might think. For us, it was a matter of economics. To be able to have musicians cover a Bob Dylan song where we pay simple royalties, we could afford. To go to Bob Dylan's publisher and ask if we could reinterpret all of these songs or republish them in Slovene would have been something that would have been on a much higher order of magnitude. It's something that we wouldn't have been able to pull off. We were able to get, in my opinion, the very best of the diverse and incredibly talented Slovene music community, possibly with the exception of Wurst who Chapin, sorry, that was supposed to be my big joke and I bombed. Possibly with the exception of Wurst Chapin, who did not appear on this. And we're happy about that today. We went a step further. 2011 is the EU Year of the Volunteer, as you can see when you come in. This week is part of the EU Volunteer Caravan, and we decided that we wanted to take each of the songs on the CD, which ended up being 14 songs, and attach them to a different civil society issue that's going on in Slovenia. Issues that are important to people in Slovenia. And the idea was twofold. One was to encourage volunteerism, especially among young people. The second was to raise awareness about these different issues. And so after we had 14 artists and 14 songs, we then went about trying to find partners in the civil society community. And we ended up with a fantastic array of local NGOs that are doing amazing work to make Slovenia a better place. And we put together a huge 80-page book that goes along with the CD. And in the book, there's some information about the musicians, but there is a lot of information that has been produced by the NGOs about these different issues. And I'll run down the NGOs and the issues in just a second. But the idea was to, number one, explain to young people growing up in Slovenia, why is this something that's important? What does it mean? Why does human trafficking affect me? What is, different environmental issues like lowering carbon footprints or waste management? Why is this important to me living somewhere out in a village in Slovenia? And we tried to explain that very clearly. And then the second part, we took it a step further and said, well, what can you do about it? At the very end of the booklet, we have a quote that says, nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. And that's kind of the spirit of this project, is to get young people enthused and involved about acting in ways that are bigger than themselves and bigger than their community. And so I just wanted to take a moment and go down our list of NGO partners and talk about the issues that we did, and I'm going to do them in the order of the songs that were presented. We worked with Zavod Voluntariat on issues of volunteerism, which was kind of a no-brainer. We worked with Zavod PIP on active citizenship and getting young people involved in their community. Zavod Emma on issues of violence against women. Focus, we had 2 environmental themes, and Focuses was about lowering Slovenia's carbon footprint. We worked with Pravno Informacijski Organizacji, PITS, about asylum issues and also civic engagement. We worked with Slovenska Filantropija on issues of regional cooperation. We worked with Nacionalni svet Invalidskih Organizacij Slovenije on issues about, and that's an umbrella organization that covers a bunch of different NGOs that are working for raising awareness about and empowering people with handicaps. We worked with Sloga on development and global action. We worked with Društvo Ključ on issues of human trafficking. We worked with Radeči Noski on issues of compassion for sick children. These are the people who put on the red nose and go and perform for children who are in hospital. We worked with Zveza Društev na področju drog, which is another umbrella organization that works with NGOs working on drug and alcohol abuse. We worked with Društvo SOS Telefon on issues of combating domestic abuse. Društvo Integriteta to promote transparency and also fight corruption. And Društvo Ekologiji brez meja, Očistimo Slovenijo, on issues of the environment. And these were issues that we thought were very crucial for all Slovenians, but issues that young Slovenians, A, would be better off for knowing more about, and B, could throw their passion and their energy behind some of these organizations. So that was the overall theme of the project, and the music rocks and is the best part of the project in some ways. But before I describe that, I just want to talk about the second parts of the project. Today's Bob Dylan's 70th birthday, most of you know, and so we thought it was appropriate to launch this CD. The CDs, by the way, will not be available for sale. We will give them out for free, and hopefully when we have distributed them, and if there's still a desire for more, we will try to get more. There's also a documentary film that's being made by Bella Films, and that will be on national television in the autumn, probably in September, and will also be distributed to schools in Slovenia so that they can see kind of the good work that's going on in the civil society. We're having a film festival featuring documentaries about Bob Dylan in September, leading up to a concert which will be held in Križanke on September 21st. And a lot of the musicians that are involved in this CD will be coming back for an encore at Križanke, which we're very excited about. So we're really using Bob Dylan to promote the idea of volunteerism and civil society.